today's video, I want to talk to you about the newly announced Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. So I have the specs here, let's go through them and I'll give you my 2 cents, as always with these event coverage videos. So it takes CDMA, GSM, HSPA, EVDO, LTE and 5G networks as expected with all these modern smartphones. They take all the modern networks. It has been released today. It is 159.8 by 74.5 by 8.4 millimeters, and those are the dimensions. It weighs 190 grams or 6.70 ounces. It has a glass front, Gorilla Glass 3, and plastic back, similar to the Galaxy S20, and it has an aluminum frame, as with all Galaxy phones. This phone also has single SIM or hybrid dual SIM functionality. It also has eSIM compatibility in some regions. Also, this phone is IP68 water and dust resistance up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. So that's about as good as an iPhone XS would get in this whole thing. The display. Let's talk about this display because this is the big defining feature of this phone. It's a budget phone with a pro display. Pro in quotation marks. It has a Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen with 16 million colours, a 6.5 inch display of 102.0 centimeters squared. It has an 85.7% screen to body ratio with a hole punch cutout. It also has a 1080 by 2400 pixels display, so it's a 1080p display. It has a 20:9 aspect ratio and has a 409.5 ppi pixel per inch density. It is Corning Gorilla Glass 3, like I mentioned before, so not the best, but they're cutting corners where they can to save money, save you a buck. It also has HDR10 support. It has an always-on display, and this is the big feature, a 120 Hz refresh rate. Really cool if you ask me. It also has Android 10 and One UI 2.5 out of box. It has the Qualcomm SM8250 Snapdragon 865 7nm plus processor architecture. It also has, in some other regions, an octa-core processor, but it is in all regions hosting an Adreno 650 GPU inside of it. So best of the best in mid-ranger. It takes a micro SDX slot. So it takes a micro SD slot. So if you're kind of into that kind of thing, you can get that with this phone. It has 128 gigabytes internal storage with 6 gigs of RAM, or you can pick up an upgrade model with a 256 gig storage option and 6 gigs of RAM. So the RAM is the same in general, but you can expand that storage, keep in mind. So it's really cool that they have that option. It's UFS 3.1 compatible, so it's all the very, very best. It has a triple lens camera system. Keep that in mind for a budget device. A triple lens camera system. In this camera lens system, we have features such as a 12 megapixel f1.8 26mm wide angle lens that has dual pixel PDAF optic image stabilization, so good image stabilization overall, dual pixel autofocus. It has an 8 megapixel f2.0 73mm telephoto lens that has PDAF autofocus optic image stabilization with a 3 times optical image zoom. This iPhone 10 can only do roughly around 2 times optical zoom, so you're getting a big step up here. Normally you get a 50mm telephoto lens on a phone, or a 50mm equivalent. This is a bit farther in, but of course it'll crop in at different settings and different focal lengths depending on which one you choose to go with. It has a 12 megapixel f2.2 13mm ultra wide angle lens. This does not have optic image stabilization. So as you can see, the cameras in aperture anyways, they get worse as the lenses go on, but as with all phones, it's going to have a very high aperture setting, so you're not going to be able to get those incredibly bokeh shots like I have in my background here. Aperture is the big thing that does that, and you're not going to be able to get that on a phone like this. You're lucky though. With the f1.8 you should get brilliant bokeh shots. It has an LED flash like we come to expect, also HDR features, and all the other camera features you come to expect. Is 8K video with the telephoto lens. That obviously is a crop factor. There's a crop factor to that. You can't just shoot raw 8K video. It shoots 4K video on all 3 camera sensors. It shoots 1080p as well. So, and it is gyro electric image stabilization. So, good overall cameras for a budget phone. This selfie camera, on the other hand, it has a single 32 megapixel f2.0 26mm wide angle camera with autofocus. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited as to how this will all work out, and I really want to see some test shots. And I'm sure Nothing But Tech, by the way, if you haven't checked her out, Jacqueline from Nothing But Tech, I'll link her down below. She'll probably do a camera comparison with this phone, so I highly recommend you check her out. She does some great camera comparisons. On the front camera, you can do HDR photos, and you can do 4K and 1080p video. Yeah, this is quite impressive. It does have a speaker, as we come to expect. Probably not stereo speakers, because honestly this thing is it's not even worth it to put stereo speakers in this thing because of the price. It has a headphone jack if that's your kind of thing. It has 32-bit 384 kilohertz audio if that kind of thing is important to you. It also has tuned by AKG speakers. It has Wi-Fi support, dual band Wi-Fi support, Wi-Fi 6. It also has Bluetooth 5.0. It has GPS features, NFC obviously. It has USB Type-C, and is an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner underneath the display. So this is a really big OnePlus 8T Ultra. This is a really big competitor to those. There will be a 4K and a 4G option and a 5G option of this. It's going to come in white, blue, orange, lavender, green and red. Yeah, this is quite the impressive phone, you know, of every single thing we have. Yeah. And of course, we can all expect high quality photos, high quality videos, you know. It'll have AI camera features. So you can really do a lot with this camera and this phone. And the big thing about this is our features of the battery. I never mentioned the battery. The battery has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, which is insane. Some of the biggest batteries I've seen. And of course you'll need that to power the 120 Hz display. So let me know what you think about this phone in the comment section below. I'm Connor.